Guys, we got this 2011 Jeep Wrangler here. We're gonna do a transmission fluid change and a filter. All right, so this 2011 Jeep Wrangler here, it's got the 3.8 liter. We're supposed to be doing a transmission fluid change and changing the filter. And first thing I noticed when I popped the hood is look at this top radiator hose here. Yeah, she squeezed flat. That right there is a sign that caused some overheating, and that thing right there looks like she ain't gonna squeeze back out. So it's creating some type of vacuum. I'm gonna try to release some of the pressure here off this coolant system. See, she opened back up now. And that ain't gonna do nothing but continue to close shut the more you drive it. So we're gonna call a customer and recommend that change this top radiator hose out here, and might turn into a thermostat change as well. So we'll have to look at it, but we'll be right back. All right, guys, back on this 2011 Wrangler here. We got three 18mm bolts. You're gonna have one there, one there, and one right there. You're gonna take this little cross member out right here. You got your exhaust here. Probably wouldn't recommend doing this while it's hot. Your fingers probably gonna hate you if you do. You'll have 10mm bolts all the way around this pan. It's got to come off. You got 3 or 4 back here. It's gonna be kind of hard to get to. Let me see if I can get the camera. There's one. There's one right there. You got one more there. Got a couple more on this back side. They're gonna be a little bit harder to get to. We may have to drop this exhaust right here, but I like to do stuff easy, so we're gonna see if we can get around it some way. All right, I'm gonna show you how to get these 3 bolts out back here behind this, or right up underneath this exhaust. Take your pry bar, whatever you got, pry bar, screwdriver, something big, something heavy, put on it. Just gonna bend it down a little bit. See if you can't get your socket off in there. I've already got this one right here loose, but just pull it down just enough to where you can break these bolts here loose, and you should be able to get to this one and these one right here, and this one right here in the front. Get you a short socket on a ratchet. You should be able to pull that right there off, reaching your ratchet up in here right above that exhaust, and that's gonna be the easiest way to get them bolts right there out. All right, guys, I'm gonna attempt to drop this pan here without spilling transmission fluid everywhere. So if you're in your mom and daddy's driveway, I probably wouldn't recommend doing this on no clean concrete, because it could turn into a mess. So if you see, I got all the bolts out all the way around the pan. Got these out back here in the back. You're gonna have some fluid. You're gonna have some fluid dripping out where these bolt holes right here are. So you're gonna have a little fluid running down. So just put your pan where you, if you got a big pan, of course, you can cover up the whole transmission pan. But if you got a smaller pan like this, you could just take, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen this up just a hair, just a little bit. And then we're gonna come to this side over here, keep it away from my face. Take this bolt right here off. So I left 2 of these bolts right here on. 2 of these bolts on the side right here. Loosen this one up, and I'm gonna take this one right here completely out, and I'm gonna attempt to pop the front of this pan down, or the side of this pan right here, hoping that transmission fluid is gonna go on that side right there. That's what I'm gonna attempt. We're gonna try it out. You got to go back with your little pry bar, your screwdriver, whatever you got. You're gonna take it and get up underneath that just a hair, just a little bit. Kind of pry that down some. Open. I would suggest your first time it starts to leak out a little bit, you find wherever it's gonna leak out, and you just put your bucket or your pan up underneath there and let it pour on out. I wouldn't try to pop this thing down all at one time and spill fluid all over yourself, because that'll definitely happen. We're gonna let this drain right here for a little while. Just gonna take my time, come back, and probably pop it down just a little bit more at a time and let it drain so we ain't making a big mess out here. Got this pan off now. I'm gonna take a T25, remove that bolt there, remove that bolt there. That's gonna take our filter off. I'm gonna clean this belly-less transmission up real good where our gasket sits at. Clean our pan up real good. Make sure we ain't got no metal shavings or anything like that. Get everything put back up. Got our pan cleaned up. They use Permafix to seal this with instead of the gasket that you buy at the parts store. Got your filter. You're gonna have this O-ring. Don't forget that O-ring. You're gonna need that. It's gonna sit right over top of this hole here. We'll slide it down. We'll put a little bit of transmission fluid on that O-ring when we put it back up in there. We're gonna put our gasket back on here. Take a little trick learnt. Take a little bit of this grease right here. Run a thin coat. Just something real thin. It ain't gotta be nothing heavy. If you ain't got no grease, get away with a little bit of Vaseline. Whatever you got laying around the shop probably work, but this grease works pretty good. So you don't want to put it on there real heavy because you're not trying to load it up. Got that right there on. Take this gasket here, trying to do this with one hand. We're just gonna set it on there. Give it a nice little spot to rest. By the way, these gaskets, when you get them out of them boxes there, they're gonna be kind of all twisted up, and they're gonna be hard to sit down like this right here. So another little trick, if you take a blow dryer blow dryer, heat this gasket up, especially if it's cold outside. Some people say just lay it out on the ground if it's hot, but cold outside, you take a blow dryer to it and get it nice and warm, and put you a book or something on it to kind of flatten it out for a little bit. Let it get flat enough where it'll sit down on this pan, and then you ain't got to worry about trying to fight it to get it to line up when you put that pan back up in there. Same with this O-ring. We're going to put it on here. Don't forget your O-ring. You're going to need that. Put a little transmission fluid on that when we set it off in there. Make sure it's got a good seal on it. One thing I forgot to mention is make sure when you pull that filter off right there, make sure you pull your other O-ring out. 9 out of 10 times that thing's gonna just stay up in there, so make sure you pull that out before you put your other filter on. Got a pan up there, got a brace bolted back, everything's torqued down, ready to put some fluid in it. Now this specific vehicle calls out for 4 quarts automatic transmission fluid. ATF4 is what it calls for. Show you guys a little bit of trick here that you guys that say I can't hit this little hole or whatever right here. Makes sense. Put you a funnel down in there, grab you a bigger funnel, stick on top of it. Ain't no horse race, but pour it down in there slow, give you a bigger opening. Or you can just buy a more expensive funnel, however the hell you want to do it. Alright, if I could video these and do the work at the same time, I would. I started out with about 3.5 quarts of transmission fluid. Start the vehicle and run through the gears, and then kind of add it as we need up to around 4 quarts or so. But best thing to do is don't overfill it, because the same way it went in be the same way it have to come out, unless you want to drop that pan again, and no, that ain't very fun. So I would suggest probably starting out with about 3.5 quarts of transmission fluid. Start the vehicle, run it through the gears a little bit, and then get back out and check it again and see where you're sitting at.